What's going on, everybody? This is the Black Dad Chronicles. My name is Courtney McIntosh. I am your host. And I'm coming to you not live. But got a couple things I want to talk to you about this week. I want to first thank and shout out everybody for listening to my conversation with Pastor Jose Dorsey. Hoping it was a very enjoyable listen. A lot of times we talk to pastors or you see pastors and it feels like, I know in my instance, it feels like when you talk to a pastor, they never give you their real self, their true kind of authentic self. And it seems like sometimes they're just, kind of hidden behind church and you never get to know the real man or real woman behind the cloth. But Jose is the pastor at my church, and I also count him as a friend. So, I just wanted to, and he's also a dad, and that's the reason why I do the podcast. So, I just wanted to give you guys kind of an insight into his life, into his background, the way I try to do with every guy I talk to on the podcast. I have a good conversation coming up with my friend Johnny in a couple weeks, and I'm working on getting some more people lined up as well. So just want you guys to stay tuned. Thank everybody for rocking with me, so far. But today I'm coming at you guys from, I guess, not a different place, but I guess maybe a continuation of my podcast 2 weeks ago when I talked about men and our health. Sorry, I had to sip some water right there. But I'm going to give you my personal story and a journey that I've been on for probably about the last 5 years or so, 4 years or so. That's kind of led me up to the decision that I made at the beginning of this week. So I'm going to take you guys back to 2013. 2013, I was just me, but I was put onto a documentary entitled Forks Over Knives. And I'm pretty sure many of you out there have heard about the documentary or even seen the documentary. And watching Forks Over Knives put me on a journey that's, led to a distinct, to this distinct moment in time in my life. So I'm going to take you back a little bit. At 15 years old, I was diagnosed with high cholesterol. And, I always wondered how a kid who, was very active, ate, I guess relatively healthy for what I thought I was eating, back then. Active, exercise, was in the sports and everything. How did I end up with high cholesterol? And, the only thing that doctors could tell me at that point and tell my mom was, that some people's body produces higher amounts of cholesterol than others, So that's kind of what I went with until, I always had this, idea, this fear when I turned 30 that I had a limited time left on this earth. And that was my fear because my dad died when he was 40, of a heart attack. So I had gained a bunch of weight. And my weight gain really started from, I can trace my weight gain back to one point in time too. When I was in the Navy in 2016, I remember the date, May 21st, 2016, I had a bunionectomy. And so what they did, I had bunions on both feet. So what doctors did was they went in and removed like an 1.5 inch section of my bone on my left foot, in the big toe. And that put me on the shelf for about 6 weeks. So what you guys don't understand is in the military, you get, if you have like a medical procedure done, it's light limited duty, which means you could do some certain things. They have no duty, stuff like that. I was light limited duty. And one of the things I could not do, being light limited duty status was I couldn't be caught exercising on the base gym. And because of the way the base that I was on, how it was structured, I was at the 20th SRG down in Gulfport, Mississippi. It was one gym on the base. So if you were in the gym, you know, people could see you, like everybody could see you. And I was never like a health or workout, you know, nut. I just hooped all the time. Like that's the one thing I did. I played basketball constantly. And that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to, you know, really drop a lot of weight now is so I can get back on the court, you know, just because I it's one of my ways that I was, you know, able to relax, get some time to myself, get lost in my thoughts. And, you know, it's play basketball. Just go out on the court, shoot jumpers, shoot free throws, work up a good sweat, and good exercise too. So when you're light limited duty status, and you get caught working out, you can go to Captain's Mass. And what Captain's Mass is basically, not necessarily a trial, but it's a trial, you know, where you did something wrong and you go in front of the CO or somebody and they tell you what, you know, what your punishment is, blah, blah, blah. You know, Captain's Mass, you know, really the only time I saw it in the Navy was for people who failed drug tests. But, violating that, you know, light limited duty status was grounds technically for Captain's Mass. So I didn't know how to, you know, work out properly. So because I was light limited duty status before I left the John F. Kennedy, and then when I transferred to Gulfport, Mississippi on light limited duty status. So for the first month I was there, I couldn't exercise or anything. So in that time, I remember the day before my surgery, I was 220 pounds, had 16% body fat. And I know that because we had our PRT test the day before I had my foot surgery. I did that on purpose. So I wouldn't, you know, come back and have to, you know, get back up to speed because I was never really a real good distance runner anyway. So, you know, running a mile was annoying for me because I'm not a runner. So 221 pounds, 16% body fat. I had worked my ass off to get there too. But after my surgery, I couldn't do anything, you know, until I was, you know, maybe at my new command for a month. And at that, you know, it's weird when you gain a lot of weight really fast because in that 6 weeks, I gained 40 pounds. I went up from 221 pounds to 263 pounds when I was first able to start working out at my new command. And I mean, that's 40 pounds in 8 weeks, you know, in 2 months, basically. And I don't remember, you know, eating all crazy. But I did. You know, I don't know how I did it, but I did it. You know what I'm saying? And ever since then, it's just been a struggle to get the weight off. You know, it's been a struggle to get the weight back off. So now, at the point I am now, I am, you know, lower than that. I weighed myself maybe 2 days ago and I was 258, which is kind of like what I walk around as, 258, and I'm trying to get lower. My ideal is to get down to 220. Excuse me, not 220, 215, and then maybe work, you know, lower from there. But yeah, so 2013, I watched the documentary Forks Over Knives, and I was put on the documentary because good old Meech called me and told me he and his wife had just got finished watching it. And he was like, man, this is profound, you know, you gotta watch it, man, the stuff we eat and blah, blah, blah. So I watched it, and then after I watched it, I was so touched by it. I was like, man, this is, you know, it's crazy how what we eat, you know, directly like affects us in such a huge way. And when you think about it, it shouldn't be that profound. Yeah, what we eat affects us the way it does, especially when we eat bad. We got to think of our body like a car or something like that. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go vegan. You know what I'm saying? Stop eating all meat, animal products, all that. And I just tried to do it cold turkey right away. Didn't do any study on it other than watching Forks Over Knives. Excuse me. I bought the book, which I do have. I do have the Forks Over Knives book. So I read the book. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm pumped up, gung ho. And then I failed, quickly I failed. And it's because I didn't do the proper research and I didn't really know what I was doing. Some people, I talked to my older brother who's been vegan for about 2.5 years, something like that. He said that as far as eating meat goes, he stopped cold turkey. Once he figured out, what meat was doing to his body. And then he was like, he stopped eating eggs a little while after that, and so now he's just totally plant-based. But I did it, and really without doing any research on it, and so I failed. And it's because I didn't know the proper way to balance, plant-based meals. I thought, I could eat 3 bananas and I'd be good for a couple hours. Well, I'm starting to, the older I get, the more in tune I'm starting to become into my body, with my body. And, I know the way my body burns up fruit in the morning that I just can't have fruit for breakfast. So, if I have 3 bananas, I may be full when I get finished eating that 3rd banana, but probably 30 minutes later, I'm going to be starving again, so I didn't probably know how to balance my nutrition or my meals. So I failed. So then, I got with my sister and I was like, yo, Muff, let's go raw for 1 week. You know what I'm saying? Let's just straight eat raw vegetables and stuff. I failed again because I just thought, carrots got a lot of fiber. Apples got a lot of fiber. So I was just, eat half a bag of baby carrots, an apple, banana, something like that, and didn't think I was good. Once again, I didn't do any studying, do any research, and it's I failed. I remember when I got to the 5th day of that week, I was just so miserable because I was like, yo, I can't have this, I can't have this, I can't have this. And, I was just I was being lazy with it also. I wasn't being creative. Now, when it comes to food, I'm creative. Food is my passion. But I was not using that passion to help me along this journey. So, I failed after 5 days. I was like, yo, I can't do this raw stuff anymore. So I quit. Went back to eating meat, cheese, all that stuff. But one of the things I did cut out was I cut out beef because, so I probably cut out beef, 2017? I cut out beef the beginning of 2016. Basically because working in a restaurant, you could eat for free, the restaurants I was eating at, but it was only certain things if I wanted a chicken sandwich, I'd make a chicken sandwich, ham sandwich, stuff like that, a burger. So it was real easy to just throw a burger on the flat top while I'm, throw my burger on the flat top while I'm cooking, other food because it could just sit off to the corner. And then I have my burger as soon as I get a break. And it would just make me feel sluggish and crappy. And I would just slow down. I kind of likened it to a car having bad oil, where you need, when your car needs an oil change and your car starts to not accelerate as fast as it once did. That's how I felt. And it was just I felt so sluggish and so heavy. It felt like, after eating beef, I would get, lead feet and stuff like that. So I cut out beef, at the beginning of 2016. But I was still eating pork, chicken, fish, cheese, eggs. But, so I've been doing research, and because I don't like the way my body looks, I don't like the way my body feels, I don't like the fact that I'm in pain all the time. I pretty much had to give up for the last 2 months. I basically had to stop doing Zumba just because the pain in my knees is so bad. And so I don't like feeling that way. And I don't understand how people can walk around feeling that way, to be in constant pain, all that weight and stuff on your joints. And, it's not fun to me, man. And so slowly but surely, I've been cutting certain things out. Cut out pork I cut out pork, and one of the excuses I was having was like, yo, I'm a cook and I don't cook in a vegan restaurant, so I gotta taste this stuff. I was giving myself the excuse, a license to actually, still eat some of this stuff that I didn't want to eat, because, I was like, yo, we gotta taste the food before we put it out, you know what I'm saying? We gotta taste the food before we finish, when we finish making it, to make sure it tastes good, make sure it's flavorful, and that's how I was still sneaking meat in, So I decided at the beginning of this year, 2017, that I was going to go vegetarian and work my way, slowly to becoming vegan. And at the beginning of the year, I weighed myself. I was 283 pounds. And like I said, I weighed myself a couple days ago. I was down to 258. So I've lost over 20 pounds this year. But my cholesterol is still high. I went to the doctor about a month ago, had blood work done. My cholesterol is still crazy high. So my doctor put me on blood pressure medicine. And I don't like taking any type of pills at all. I don't like taking aspirin. I don't like taking ibuprofen. Because in the military, vitamin M, just take some Motrin, drink some water, and you'll be straight, I don't like taking pills for anything. I don't even like taking Tums for gas and stuff like that. That's how much I don't like taking pills. Now, I'll take vitamins, but as far as pain pills and stuff like that, I'm just not big on taking. So I want to free myself. And, I look at, people when they get older. I look at my mom and how she's taking 9, 10 different medications, and they're costing her money. You know what I'm saying? Because prescription medicine is $1 billion, close to probably $1 trillion a year industry, man. And these people make money off us being sick, and they can, charge insane amounts of money for your prescription drugs. Just in the news, earlier this year, Martin Shkreli, I guess that's how you pronounce his name. He, was famous, and I first heard about him because he bought, the Wu-Tang album that Wu-Tang had put on sale as a piece of art for $100,000 or something like that, $1 million, something like that. But he was the guy who bought the album. But I also didn't know that he controlled an insulin medication or something like that. So just because he could, and I guess it was the main insulin medication, but I guess because, and he's under indictment from the feds now, I believe. But he marked up the cost 720% just because he could. So people, people don't understand, the pharmaceutical drug industry is an over, $1 billion industry every year. So I don't want to be wasting all my money. I got a whole lot of other things that I'd rather spend my money on. The least of which being prescription medication. I'd rather spend my money on, trips, the hottest phone that's out, sneakers, maintaining my car, buying stuff for my kids. I don't want to, spend it on prescription drugs. So when my doctor hit me with the, your cholesterol is insanely high. I want you to take, I'm going to give you this cholesterol medicine, and in 3 months, I want you to come back. So that was about a month ago. And when he first gave me the medicine, I shouldn't have put ice in my water, but that's what's taking so long for me to gulp it down. But once he did that, I was like, I just kind of got focused, and I decided I'm not going to play around with my health no more. My main goal is to be here for my kids. And listen, tomorrow's not promised to anybody. And I believe we all have a time on this earth, and the good Lord is going to take us when our time is up. But you know what? I'm not going to rush that timeline up by the choices I make, So, the other day, this is Tuesday, Monday night, Tuesday morning, I started watching the documentary What the Health on Netflix. And when when your eyes get open to certain things, I knew, certain corporations and companies were shady and stuff like that. But when you find out that the American Cancer Society, classifies certain things as level 1 carcinogens like bacon, processed meats, stuff like that. But when you go to their website, they give you recipes or, heart healthy recipes and stuff like that. For diabetes, all that stuff. And, a lot of people, think that diabetes has a lot to do with your sugar, but a lot of doctors in these videos, in the documentary, was saying that diabetes is not a disease related to how much sugar you intake, but diabetes is a disease mostly centered around, the animal fats and stuff that you ingest. So watch that, and that was kind of the thing that, really made my mind up, because I don't have time to play with my health. You know what I'm saying? My kids need me, my wife needs me, my family needs me. I don't have time to play around with my health. And so I made the decision to abstain from eating animal products. Notice I didn't call myself vegan, and even though that is the type of lifestyle I am choosing to adopt, one of the things that I'll still consume, I don't want any animals to die, for me to eat. There's plenty of fruits and vegetables and grains and nuts and legumes and seeds out here for me to eat that don't require animals dying. And I'm still going to eat honey, 1, because it's my favorite sweetener. 2, because you don't have to kill bees to, make honey. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to kill bees to get your honey. I've worked in a beehive before. I've worked on a beehive before. I've built a beehive before. I've seen how, the honey removal process works, or honey extraction. I've seen that process, how it works. But you don't have to kill bees to get honey. But I just don't want to eat that crap anymore and have my body feeling like crap. I don't like being this heavy. I don't like being, having a gut. My wife may like snuggling up on me, and you know what I'm saying, and I'm soft and cuddly, but I don't like feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the fact that, when you eat a big meal, full of meat or whatever like that, you get the itis. The itis ain't cool, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to, one thing, that people don't realize is that you're not supposed to want to fall out after you eat, and you're supposed to be regular. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't poop properly, And it's because of the food that they eat. They're not getting enough fiber, not eating a lot of the right things. You know, technically you're supposed to poop after every time you eat. You know what I'm saying? You are supposed to hit the toilet after every time you eat. You know what I'm saying? And that's, you know, you eat something, your body's going to process it, get the good stuff out, and the waste is to, you know, and remove the waste. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? But people don't poop properly. You know what I'm saying? Also, what else did I say that? You're not supposed to fall asleep, you know, right, or want to fall asleep right after you eat. You know how sumo wrestlers gain weight, right? So sumo wrestlers, they eat a lot and they take a lot of naps because while you're sleeping, you know, all the stuff that you eat kind of like it burns up, but when you eat a lot of fat, you gain fat, and when you sleep, it slows your body down. So, I found that's not me just getting stuff out of thin air. I actually, you know, read about how sumo wrestlers, you know, gain weight so fast, you know, and the diet of a sumo wrestler. But I say all that to say this. I made a choice this week to abstain from eating any any animal-based products. So no butter, no cheese, no meat, no eggs, no chicken broth, no nothing that comes from an animal except for honey. And that's how it's gonna be. I'm fully committed to this now. I'm steady doing the research every single day, trying to find new things to eat, and how that type of stuff affects the body. Like I just really start reading about herbs and how, you know, certain herbs are super good for your body. Like, you know, if you want a herb that's really good for your body, yo, cilantro, it's really good. I try to throw cilantro in a smoothie pretty much every day. And I know how to eat now. You know what I'm saying? I know how to eat. I know how to balance a plate. I know how to balance a meal. And, you know, you want to be honest, you can get the complete nutrition that you need from just, you know, eating beans and rice. Beans and rice, when you eat beans and rice together, it makes a complete amino acid chain. That's one of the things I learned in culinary school. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the science of it. The science of it was explained, but you know what I'm saying? I finished culinary school 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But I'm making this choice for me. I'm trying to make it for my kids, and I want my wife to adopt it too. But you know, out of the people in my life who have given me, you know, the most resistance is my wife, my mom, Meech. You know, my kids are like, you know, Dad, if it tastes good, it tastes good. Like one of the cool things that my kids and I were able to do is towards the end of the school year, they decided that, sorry, my alarm's going off. They decided that they didn't want to have sandwiches for lunch anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that means no lunch meat, no cheese, none of that. So pretty much what I was packing in their lunch, I'll, you know, pack them some, some fruit, some veggies, some pretzels, and they can't have like, you know, all three of my kids go to like a nut-free school, so they couldn't have like peanut butter or anything like that. But you know, I would give them, you know, fruit, maybe some celery and some carrot sticks, stuff like that. Multiple fruits, some pretzels. You know, I like pretzels. Pretzels are cool. And you know, juice. Me and my wife, you know, try to not buy like the little garbage juice boxes, but you know, we keep Capri Suns on deck, I'll be honest, but they don't have any high fructose corn syrup in them, so I guess that's pretty good. But you know, I've decided to make that change, and I'm hoping that my kids will. I know I got resistance from my mom. You know, sometimes talking to my mom is very frustrating because it's like, yo, if you got relevant data out here that's going to help you, help you live your life for the better. You know what I'm saying? Help you lose weight. all around, like, change your life for the better. Why won't you take it? And her response is always, well, I'm going to eat bacon. I like bacon. And, you know, bacon is considered not just bacon, but processed meats. But, you know, they're level 1 carcinogens. You want to know what else is a level 1 carcinogen? Cigarettes. So if you eat bacon, you might as well smoke. Why are you going to do that to your body when you got all this information out here that's telling you the opposite? But sometimes some people, you know, stuck in their old ways. They always think their ways is better. My wife is like, yo, I'm going to eat I'm going to eat what I want to eat. And I'm like, but what if what you want to eat is not good? You know, and that's a fight I got to have with myself. I love cookies. You know what I'm saying? I love sweets. And I'm fully committed to giving that up because, you know, I found viable alternatives, very viable alternatives that are good for me. Like if I want a cookie, you know what I'm saying? If I want that sweet sugar rush, I just go grab a couple dates out the refrigerator, grab some cherries or something like that, grab some grapes, you know, something like that. I got plenty fruit alternatives. Like on my, you know, I get to work, you know what I'm saying, because I work at Whole Foods, I got access to, you know, we sell junk at Whole Foods, I'm not going to lie, but I got access to the good stuff. So, you know, I, on my break, try to grab some fruit, you know what I'm saying, for my lunch. My wife brings me home a salad every day, you know what I'm saying, from her job. So this is a lifestyle that I'm committed to. And I want to get more people committed to it. You know what I'm saying? Each one teach, you know what I'm saying? Each one teach one. You if you learn something, pass that knowledge on to somebody else so they can have it and it could positively affect their lives. All right, so that's it for this week, guys. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for listening, downloading, subscribing. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Courtney Mack. I always have the Black Dad Chronicles Facebook page. Also, new website that I'm a part of. You know, me and my guys from Hit the Ropes, we decided that we wanted to create a platform to empower Black people. You know what I'm saying? When you got a blog, you got a podcast, you know what I'm saying? You got an interesting perspective. You want to do movie reviews, music reviews. Come see us. www.thevesey.com, VESEY.com. And the website, we named it after Denmark Vesey. So come to the VC.com, see everything we got over there. And if you want to write for us, if you want to do a podcast for us, hit us up, let us know. But that's it, y'all. I'm about to hit y'all with the intro. No bars this week. I know I hit y'all with the bars a couple weeks ago, even though they was whack. But even though it was whack, you know what I'm saying, I still had some sort of rhyme scheme. It wasn't like, yeah, hey, you know what I'm saying, that garbage that they, you know, pass off as rap, you know, nowadays. So, don't get me started on that. But, like I said, thank everybody for tuning in. Catch y'all on the next time. Peace.